welcome to another vinyl video. We're doing a special pairing this week to celebrate our favorite show coming back on the air, and that show is Madmen.
Which is a perfect show for what we do here at Vinyl. It combines great music and great drinks every episode, and
A lot of drinks.
and we like to follow along.
Yes, and we had a nice little party to celebrate. But
And check our Vinyl blog if you want to see the recipes that we made and see some of the party that we had.
yeah, we did a Polynesian theme. We did like the poo poo platter Mai Tai 1960s party. But you know, from those of you who watch the show or are just familiar with the 1960s in general, America was much more of a cocktail nation back then. There wasn't a lot of wine drinking going on, but they did drink some wine, and what they did drink was Bordeaux. They weren't really growing wine that much in California yet in America, and you know, it just wasn't in the...
Probably expensive to import back in that time.
Yeah, and people were just really into their martinis, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But so we decided to do a Bordeaux this week. You know, Bordeaux is not really something you think of when you think of everyday drinking wines, but there are some good deals to be had. They're a little bit more difficult to find. This one was about how much?
About under $20, but
Yeah, you
$16
can
$18.
find them. It's good to have a good wine shop where you can, you know, have a reliable salesperson that's going to tell you, because they can be...
this one came recommended.
Yes, and they can be pretty horrible when you get into the cheaper Bordeaux, because Bordeaux, in general, you know, you get the more expensive, like kind of sought after collectible wines. But this one is Chateau Caillou Les Martins, and it's from the Lussac-Saint-Emilion area of Bordeaux.
Is it fair to say that when people think of French wine, sort of just in a general anonymous way, that Bordeaux is the wine they're thinking of?
I think they do, and that's unfortunate, because Bordeaux is really stuffy, and you know, it can be kind of unapproachable, because it is a wine that, you know, in the nicer categories, or even this one, you have to put them away for a while. They're wines that are made to be cellared for a while before opening. They're not wines that are made to be drunk right away. And it tends to be a stuffier region. I mean, it's a place where if you go wine tasting, you need to make appointments, you need to dress up. But I did live in Bordeaux for a while, and there are also some really cool laid-back winemakers in Bordeaux that are just making everyday drinking wines. But
This guy's
one of them.
probably one of them.
But you know, they don't often make it to the U.S. But so Bordeaux's are blends. There's 5 blending grapes in Bordeaux: Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Merlot, Petit Verdot, and Malbec. But they tend to be like either Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Sauvignon, or Merlot. The Saint-Emilion-based wines tend to have, you know, Cab Merlot, Cab Franc, but it's hard to say, because I couldn't really find a lot of information about this wine online.
Well, while you're pouring, I'm gonna tell everyone what we're pairing it with. For anyone who's into the show, one of the big secrets on Mad Men is what year is the new season going to pick up with. And we found out Sunday night that this year the action takes place in 1963. So we wanted to find a record from 1963 in honor of Mad Men to complete this pairing, and we came up with a classic album, which I actually did not know was put out in that year until I did some research. Duke Ellington and John Coltrane. That's the name of the album, Duke Ellington and John Coltrane. And it's just one of those classic collaborations between two absolute geniuses, madmen themselves. One from the old school, and then John Coltrane was just getting noticed in 1963, more as a sideman. He just started putting out his own albums under his name, and was really an up-and-comer. And, you know, it would just be... In 1963, I mean, he only had about 4 more years left in his career, but that's when he did the majority of the work that he's famous for. And so, in honor of Madmen, this is a good pairing, because it kind of represents Don Draper and the rest of the ad team, old school, and then but with the sense of the new guard coming in, the 60s, and all that would bring, symbolized here by John Coltrane. So, classic record, and one that's very worthy of a Mad Men pairing.
And it definitely, I mean, it kind of instantly sets the Mad Men vibe. You kind of instantly feel like you're in Sterling Cooper, and that Don Draper is going to just walk around the corner.
Well, that combination of Coltrane and Ellington brings elegance and mystery and soul, too.
So Bordeaux is also a wine that tends to take a little while to open up, but this one is opening up nicely. It's got real earthy notes to it, some pepperiness, some kind of like green pepper kind of vegetal notes to it.
Right.
And there's some
pebbly, soily,
and
loamy notes.
some dark fruit, some like plummy fruit. Nice, it's spicy, and it's got a lot of tannin. Bordeaux tends to have a lot of tannin, so it's definitely a wine that you're going to want to have some food with or some cheese. It's great with cheese.
Hey, not cheese.
But you know, this one I could probably drink it on its own, which we probably will do.
We won't drink it on its own because we'll be listening to this album.
That's true. Good point.
So hey, check back with us. Look at the blog. We'll be having more Madmen updates. Probably halfway through the season, we'll do another Madmen party with a little bit more wintertime fare, and we'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
Enjoy the season. Enjoy living in 1963 for a while.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, baby.